Jim Crockett Promotions was trending upwards heading into the summer of 1986, and they would continue to trend upwards and go way, way up, thanks to the introduction of the Great American Bash Tour, the brainchild of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the booker and one of the top stars of Jim Crockett Promotions. He says, I got this great idea, Jim Crockett Jr. We're going to take this ambitious live touring schedule that we're doing. We're going to send it into the stratosphere, baby. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to build a dome of steel in Atlanta, and then we're going to tour around the country, and the only way to win is submit or surrender. Keep it simple, keep it bloody, keep it brutal, and people are going to keep coming back. They'll come back in 1987 and 1988. We're going to make millions of dollars. And then after those tours, Ted Turner bought the company. The War Games concept continued to be used. And now on June 29th, 2022, in Detroit, Michigan, the next evolution arrives. I'm John Rant with my review of AEW Dynamite, not War Games, Blood and Guts. But yes, 13,000 some odd fans in Detroit, Michigan. Pretty goddamn hot. It was a white hot crowd for most of the show. I will say for 90% of the show's pay-per-views, Dynamites, I mean, sure, the live Rampages have a better crowd. They have to kind of sweeten it a little bit for the tape shows because, let's be honest, when you tape Dark Elevation and then you have a live Dynamite and then you tape Rampage, even the hottest crowds can burn out a little bit. But nevertheless, this was a pretty goddamn hot crowd. And 36 years ago, they built the Dome of Steel in Atlanta, and it was really goddamn cool. And even though they did do a lot of War Games matches on the 1986, 1987, 1988 Great American Bash Tours, hot-shotted, they were trying to get interest. Like Dusty Rhodes was trying to get interest back in the goddamn product. And then they would continue to use the War Games concept in WCW. And from there, well, let's be perfectly honest, they, after getting put on ice, it's kind of been gotten to the point where they almost have to do everything under the goddamn sun. Like, I'm actually surprised they didn't set the goddamn steel structure on fire in Detroit. Hell, given how some of the stuff went on this show, it reminded me of Halloween Havoc 95. I'm surprised the Yeti didn't appear. Is that a head he's got on or a stump? Well, if you guys like the show, let me know in the comments. But I'm not going to lie to you. You probably aren't going to like some of the stuff I have to say. I liked the crowd. I liked a couple things. But holy fucking shit, this might have been one of the worst episodes of Dynamite I've seen in a while, and I will tell you why in due course. Excalibur, Taz, and Shivani Star, JR will join for the second hour. I think that's how they should have been utilizing JR from the beginning. Maybe use him in the beginning, have him go away for a bit, have him come back just sporadically. That's how WCW should have used Gordon solely in like 89, 90. So, the card rundown, the two-ring setup, the crowd is very loud. New music for Orange Cassidy. I don't know what the fuck it is. Whatever. Where is my mind? Where is my music? So, I don't know why Trent and Taylor were dressed in tie-dye jumpsuits. I'm actually shocked that Chuck Taylor is still there. And then Lambert, the sheepish lion Dan Lambert, knocks Orange Cassidy and also has a bottle of orange juice. And whatever. He gets shut the fuck up chance. He tells the referee, hey, we like to enforce the athletic commission rules here, and they aren't licensed managers, but I am, so kick Taylor and Trent out, and he does. There's bullshit chance. And then we get Ethan Page with Dan Lambert, the sheepish lion Dan Lambert, versus Orange Cassidy. Really? This is how you're kicking off a post-pay-per-view show? Yeah, by the way, Forbidden Door was just a few days ago. Same old shit from Cassidy. Look, I'm not going to get into a long dissertation about it. I'm not saying the guy can't work. There are people that like him. There are people that don't. I don't. At one point, he does, the same comedy bullshit with Dan Lambert. Takes a drink from the orange juice. Still has it in his mouth. Hits a Superman punch. Sprays Dan Lambert in the face. Hits another Superman punch and hits a slam 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that ate up quite a bit of time on a show that really was just going to be a one-match show, but that's how you fucking kick the show off. Great way to use Ethan, who I'm not the biggest fan of, but really, whatever. So then Shivani interviews Christian. Lots of boos, asshole chants. He says that, he was supposed to come out here and apologize, but he apologized, for what he said about his family. Jungle Boy's family says, I'm sorry that your entire family isn't dead, except your mother, and then does the call me thing. And he knocks Detroit. Great promo here. I'm curious to see how they're going to eventually mess this up. But they're nursing this whole thing with Jungle Boy not coming back yet. They'll probably have the match at Dynamite Grand Slam, which I almost think they're going to have to. And then he says, I wanted a match tonight, but I didn't say it was for me. Who is it? It's Luchasaurus. It's heel Luchasaurus. He's all in black and he's all scary. And what did he do? Is Is it Luchasaurus trying to get Christian to believe that he's a heel? Or did they just decide to say, ah, fuck it, Jurassic Express has gone as far as they fucking can. Let's just have Luchasaurus go heel after 1 week. Whatever, he destroyed Serpentico. I mean, for what that's worth, not really much of anything, but if they keep the offense simple, this heel turn for Luchasaurus might work for about 4 weeks. So then Shivani's interviewing Sky and Wardlow in the back, and they're going to have a street fight for the TNT Championship next week. If Wardlow does not win, this is going to be very disappointing. That's nothing against Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky got a bad goddamn hand. Him and Sammy should have not been hot potatoing that championship. Sky should have held that fucking thing for about 5 months. And then Caster knocks, or basically, you know, talks about people cheering Danhausen. How are you going to cheer for a white guy doing whiteface? Embarrass my brothers again. We gonna make you drink all the tap water in Flint. Ooh. Yeah, it's kind of harsh. It's funny. It's also not, but it's also funny. Danhausen says, I have a couple partners. I guess they're pretty good at wrestling. FTR. They have made FTR, you know, part of this comedy thing, and I just don't understand. Look, Danhausen appeals to some people, doesn't appeal to some. I saw him at an indie show. I just don't get it. I don't. It's FTR and Danhausen against Caster and the Gun Club, referee Aubrey. Why subject FTR to this? There was a few cool German spots. Danhausen did what he did. And Kip Sabian's in the front row with the bag over his head, by the way. And then after a bunch of distractions and a crutch shot, because Bowens can walk, shock of shocks, he's recovered from his injury, accidentally hits one of the guns. I think it's Austin, and Danhausen gets the win. So FTR comes off of this big win in a 3-way match at Forbidden Door and can't even get the pin. Good. That's good. And then the Acclaimed and the Gun Club are yelling at each other, and then Billy shoves his sons down, and the crowd, I believe, is chanting "Daddy Ass." So far, we're not doing such good things here. Then a pre-tape with Lethal, Dutt, and Giant Silva, a.k.a. Giant Gonzalez Jr. I guess we're going to have a Ring of Honor TV Championship match at Death Before Dishonor on July 23rd. Is that what they said? I think July 23rd. Or, I don't actually. It's later in July. And then Jay took on Layla Gray. I guess WWE decided not to scoop her up because she'd been on some episodes of NXT after appearing on some AEW shows. TBS Championship match. Layla tried. She got in a couple shots. Nice, you know, the corner spot. But Jade took over and hit her with Jaded 1, 2, 3. And then Jade is tired of everybody bitching and wants new competition. And Stokely starts talking, fresh off of his shift in Munchkin Land. And then here's Athena and Statlander. And Layla decides to join in to stop, or to basically help out Jade. I guess since they need a new baddie since Red Velvet's injured, Layla would fit. It would give her something to do. WWE is going to be stupid enough to not hire her. Look, I'm not saying she's going to be a world champion. I'm not saying she's going to be a world beater, but she has a good look. They featured her quite a bit. Okay. Jay didn't want anything to do with that, but Stokely looked like he kind of wanted to shake her hand. She's already a better worker than Kira Hogan. So anyway, the Bucks are in ridiculous clothing, as is tradition. They have no friends. Oh, no. And they're going to face Goto and Yoshihashi on Rampage. Oh, great. I have to endure a second Yoshihashi tag match in a week. Be still, my beating brain. So here's JR to call the Not War Games. Rampage rundown. It's going to be the Bucks against Goto and Yoshihashi. It's going to be Nyla versus Tony in a Royal Rampage Battle Royal. I'm aware of the Rampage spoilers. Please do not spoil them here. The double cage lowers, then we get a video package. We get Dean Malenko. I really feel bad for Dean and I believe it's Parkinson's that he's dealing with. I really feel bad for him. Ruby chimes in, Shivani chimes in, Excalibur, maybe a couple others. And then the Not War Games match starts after 10 minutes of entrances. Why in the world were the Jericho Appreciation Society dressed up like discount Clockwork Orange bastards? Like, they were there for a little bit of the ultra cheap violence. I mean, that was ridiculous. The mesh stuff, whatever. I don't get it. Jericho wishes that he could be as, you know, disturbing as the people in Clockwork Orange. the Grand Wizard Clockwork Society. And versus Blackpool Combat Club, well, Moxley and Yuta, but also Claudio, and then Eddie, Santana, and Ortiz. So the heels had the advantage. There's an hour left for this, is what I wrote down, or just under an hour. And Eddie gets a huge pop. Wild Thing, You Make Detroit Sing. Regal joins commentary. Yeah, 10 minutes of entrances. Now, I'm going to do a video later, like, you know, sometime later this week or whatever. I got to finish details and I got to find enough time to do it. But I'm going to do one on how War Games actually used to, you know, not drag. It was maybe, when it was 5-on-5 is one thing. Yeah, this is 6-on-6, but still, they didn't monkey this thing up, did they? There's nothing wrong with having a main event go a bit. There is no excuse for a War Game style match to go 40+ minutes. No excuse. Because once you have the final person come in, your clock's ticking. You're supposed to go for the goddamn kills. Like, yeah, sure, okay, they can do some fancy moves. They can do some stuff. They can bleed. They can do all this. And I will get into some of this stuff in a bit. But it gets to the point where it's just fucking ridiculous and fucking stupid. And I hated this match. And I didn't mind it at first. And it got ridiculous. It got bonkers. And it got to be garbage. Pure, unadulterated fucking garbage. This is one of the worst things that AEW has done this year. This is right up there with Anarchy in the Arena, which I know some people liked. I didn't. So Claudio and Sammy start for what Sammy's worth, which ain't that goddamn much. The town bicycle's there in his corner. And, well, there was some good wrestling at first, and then Sammy decided, hey, I'm just going to jump around like I, you know, have some Acme product on my fucking legs. Like I'm Wile E. Coyote trying to hop around and get to the Roadrunner. And then, you know, for what Ty's worth, which ain't much, she's trying to be encouraging and everything, and also trying to get involved, despite the fact that you can't put stuff through the slats of cages. Aubrey's there at ringside. A couple of refs are there at ringside. I don't know why Daniel Garcia was dressed like a discount member of the Los Matadores, and if you know, you know. Wheeler was in next. Then Hager was in next, and then him and, he looked like the worst Double Dragon cosplayer I've ever fucking seen, and I'm recognizing that the Double Dragon live-action movie exists. Boy, that was goddamn shit. And then him and Claudio, well, who was Cesaro back then in WWE, the Real Americans were united. We the people. Funny how crowds say they hate everything in WWE, yet they're willing to do that. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm not knocking these particular fans, but it is what it is. Moxley then brings 2 chairs, and he brings in a fork. Because Abdul the Butcher is a goddamn idiot for ever introducing a goddamn fork. Or maybe he's not the person to introduce it, but he's the person to popularize it. So Garcia bleeds, and then others do. Moxley bleeds because it's a day that ends in fucking Y. One of the 2.0 guys shows up. Parker, I think, I don't know. I don't care. I don't know what their names are. I don't care. People were complaining that there were commercials. I understand that maybe you might have thought there were a few too many commercials, but what are you going to do? Yes, Tony Khan could have said could we have limited commercial interruptions? Could we have this? Sure, TNT would take a bath on the sponsorships, and also AEW would lose out on some sponsorship money. Also, maybe don't have the match go 55 fucking minutes with entrances, or nearly an hour with entrances. Maybe don't do that. There's a fucking idea. Shorten it to about 35 minutes. Have the entrances, have it be 25 minutes of just rah, 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 you know, rockets, action and everything. And then you might actually accomplish something. Or you could stretch this motherfucker out like, you know, Taffy that's left on the goddamn sun. Or Taffy that's left out, you know, in the goddamn desert, which would make it really sandy and gritty. And don't eat Taffy left in the desert. What the fuck are you doing in the desert? What the hell's going on? Never mind about that. Ortiz comes out with a shaved head and paint all over it. And then people start blading. At one point during the break, we get broken glass brought out, so it's immediately fucking garbage. We get a pile driver on it during the break. This is garbage, is what I wrote down. Santana runs in, tries to do a Uranagi, and immediately tweaks out his knee. I hope Santana's going to be okay. There's rumors that he might be badly injured or that he might even want to leave. I mean, if he wants to leave, I don't blame him. He can do what he wants to fucking do. But hopefully, hopefully he'll want to stick around. But if he wants to be a singles wrestler, I don't blame him. I just hope he's going to be all right, regardless of what he does. And then Moxley, he has these stupid little fucking wooden spike things that only deathmatch stupid fucks decide to use. And deathmatch wrestling is fucking stupid, and I fucking hate it. And if I ever see anything that's deathmatch wrestling at any indie show, I may just have to leave. Because I hate it, because it's not wrestling, and there are people that like it, and that's fine. I'm just saying, for me, it's not wrestling. Jericho came in, he brought a bat, Floyd the bat, to go along with the barbed wire bat that's there. Santana was done. Didn't do anything. Probably because he really hurt himself, and I feel bad for him. Eddie comes in to a huge pop, and then the bell rings, submission or surrender. There's 22 minutes left on this goddamn thing. We went through about 37 minutes of introductions, entrances, and to this point, 22 minutes left. Take the 10 minutes off. We would have already been about 25, 26 minutes, which is too long for fucking War Games anyway. In WWE NXT, did versions that went way too fucking long. And if I kill them for it, I'm killing this company for it. And more weapons and more bullshit, because it's an abysmal abortion of a goddamn match. And then Jericho tries to basically get a bottle. Well, I don't know how the bottle got outside the goddamn cage. They were going to use rubbing alcohol. We get a table bump. It wouldn't have hurt Hager's head because he have a fucking brain there, because no Trumper has a goddamn brain, and you can all fucking piss off if you don't like it. That includes Jericho. Jericho's head couldn't fucking be hurt. Jericho, ow, my eye, I'm not supposed to get tacks in it. And then at one point, Ruby Riott, as Taz says, runs down, but it's actually Ruby Soho, and she battles with Ty. Hey, Ty, here's an idea. Why don't you try actually, wearing an outfit where it won't look like you're trying to, Sharon Stone the goddamn camera. Whatever, if she had any self-respect, she wouldn't be on camera anyway. Jericho and Eddie get on the roof, then Sammy joins, and then Sammy gets sent onto a crash pad, which went better than the poof before that Jericho landed on. And then we go to break. We have 9 minutes left, and we're going to break. Claudio then gets up on the roof eventually and taps out one of the 2.0 members, while Eddie has the stretch plum or whatever it is on Jericho. And Eddie's upset because Claudio got the victory. And apparently Eddie and Claudio don't like each other. And then everybody celebrates on the goddamn roof. Everybody gets up on the roof to celebrate. And I imagine this probably took quite a while for to set up for Rampage. So all that ended up being was nearly an hour. Take off the 10 minutes of entrances. Take off like the few minutes of celebration or whatever. That was about 45 minutes. And breaks or not, that should have been half of what it was. And cut out some of the, bring in a few chairs if you want. You want to bring in a table, fine. When you start bringing in glass, you bring in the tacks, because every match has to have fucking tacks. All these garbage, match concepts had to have it. Anarchy in the Arena had just all this bullshit. They tore the ring up. They did all this shit. It was fucking stupid. The worst episode of Dynamite they've done in a while. And I don't care if anybody gets upset about it, because it was garbage. Agree, disagree what I said? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.